Hi there, fellow adventurers. Today, we're diving headfirst into the first episode of the One Piece live action series. It's like a treasure hunt, but with more pirates and rubbery shenanigans. Before we dive into this treasure trove of tales, remember to plunder that like button and subscribe for more epic tales. In Levittown, 22 years ago, the legendary pirate Gold Roger was moments away from an unplanned swim, all while Marine Vice Admiral Garp stood watch, probably regretting his career choices. Garp lays down the law, and someone from the peanut gallery shouts, "Roger, where's your treasure hidden?" Roger, the master of mystery, drops a riddle about leaving his loot for some lucky soul. Surprise! He gets a backstab from his executioner pals. Chaos ensues, Roger laughs it off, and Garp scratches his noggin. There you have it, those final enigmatic words from Roger himself that kicked off the great pirate era. Fast forward to today, our main man, Monkey D. Luffy, is all fired up to start his own pirate crew, thanks to some inspiration from Shanks. He even tries to recruit a news coup, but that bird's got places to be. Now picture this. Luffy, stuck in a sinking dinghy, watches his boat go down and jumps into a floating barrel. And where does that barrel take him? Right into the middle of a sea showdown between the Alvida pirates and a boatload of passengers. Captain Alvida and her crew raid the ship, mop the deck with the other folks, and now they're on a manhunt for this bounty hunter, Roronoa Zoro, who apparently doesn't even care about Alvida's bounty. In a fit of rage, she whacked her crewmate with a duck-shaped club, proving she's a master of anger management. Meanwhile, in the shadowy depths of the Miss Love Duck, Kobe's doing some cleaning duty when he hears something that makes him jump out of his skin. Yep, it's none other than Luffy, the self-proclaimed pirate, popping out of that barrel like it's a surprise party. Kobe's nerves get quite the workout as Luffy starts digging for snacks and interrogating him about their location. And just when Kobe thought things couldn't get any weirder, Luffy drops the bomb that he looked up to the Red Hair Pirates and their captain, Shanks, when he was a kid in Windmill Village. But get this, they rejected him, so he decided to prove himself by sticking a knife under his eye. Classic Luffy logic, right? Back in the here and now, Kobe was curious why Luffy wanted to become a pirate. Luffy spilled the beans, revealing he's all about chasing Roger's treasure, the One Piece, sailing the Grand Line, and getting more freedom than anyone could shake a parrot at. Kobe was flabbergasted. He's stuck in Alvida's crew, basically a full-time hostage. While the Alvida pirates were taking their beauty nap, Kobe decided it was now or never for the grand escape plan. Sneakily, they tiptoed past the snoring crewmates and made a beeline for the helm. Luffy, with all the navigational sense of a rubber duck in a bathtub, accidentally rang a ship's bell that could wake the Kraken. Alvida, looking scarier than a cat with a hairball, stomped out, convinced that Luffy was Kobe's secret weapon. Luffy, being the diplomat he is, didn't hold back. He spilled all the tea about Alvida and Kobe's thoughts on her. This, of course, turned her into a walking, talking volcano of rage. Her crew joined the circus of chaos, and someone even took a shot at Luffy, but it was like trying to tickle a turtle. His body simply bounced the bullet back. Then, in the middle of this crazy carnival, Alvida accidentally turned their ship, the Miss Love Duck, into a barbecue pit. She blamed Kobe and went all in on sending him to the Great Sea beyond. But Luffy took the hit with his head, like it was a beach ball. Then, he stretched his arm back and unleashed the Gum Gum pistol. Alvida became the world's least graceful high diver. The rest of her crew decided it was time to join a less chaotic circus, and Luffy told Kobe to become their official boat finder. On Sixus Island, Roronoa Zoro knelt at a shrine, paying respects to someone he knew. A fellow approached him, and Zoro, aware he'd been followed for days, wasn't surprised. The guy introduced himself as Mr. Seven and revealed he'd been tracking Zoro to recruit him into a gang of assassins called Baroque Works. Zoro wasn't impressed, especially with Mr. Seven's less than impressive title. This irked Mr. Seven, and he attempted to take out Zoro with his two swords. However, Zoro quickly proved his skills, cutting Mr. Seven in half and ending the recruitment pitch rather abruptly. The next day, Luffy and Kobe are adrift in a tiny rowboat, and Kobe's still baffled by Luffy's rubbery antics. Luffy takes a moment to spill the beans. A decade ago, he was a wee lad. He desperately tried to convince Shanks to let him join the Red Hair Pirates. But Shanks, in a classic pirate fashion, said, "Kid, you can't even swim." This got little Luffy fuming, so he stormed into a room filled with treasure chests. Lo and behold, he found a peculiar fruit and devoured it. Meanwhile, some mountain bandits led by the infamous Higuma barged into the bar demanding drinks. Shanks graciously offered them the last bottle, but Higuma, being the party pooper he was, smashed the bottle and started a ruckus. Luffy, witnessing this pacifist pirate act, called him a coward and stormed out. But as he walked away, his arm unexpectedly stretched like rubber. That mysterious fruit he scarfed down turned out to be a devil fruit, the Gum Gum fruit, transforming him into a bona fide rubber man. On their boat, Luffy admits he's as clueless about navigation as a fish on a bicycle, while Kobe questions his life choices. In a typical spur-of-the-moment decision, Luffy suggests swinging by a marine base. Why? Kobe's aiming to enlist and Luffy's hunting for a Grand Line map. Kobe's enthusiasm is about as visible as a ghost in a fog. Meet Nami, a resourceful gal stranded on a boat with just a mysterious chest. Two nosy pirates arrive, lured by curiosity about her treasure chest. Nami, a deception pro, fakes a pirate attack and plays dumb about their identity. The gullible pirates agree to help, but the chest is emptier than political promises. Nami sails away, leaving them as lost as a sailor without a compass. In Shell's Town, Luffy and Kobe spot the Marine 153rd Branch and Pirate wanted posters. In a bar, they see Zoro and Nami. Rika, the bartender's daughter, tries to impress Zoro with her homemade chocolate rice balls but clashes with Helmeppo, son of Marine Captain Axe-Hand Morgan. Helmeppo squashes the rice balls. Zoro grabs the squished rice ball, takes a bite, and suggests Helmeppo taste the other one and apologize to Rika. Helmeppo, not one for culinary diplomacy, draws his sword, ready for a showdown. Chaos erupts into an epic bar brawl as Marines join. Zoro disarms Helmeppo and quells the Marines with sword hilts. Meanwhile, Nami, in her unique style, knocks out a Marine she was flirting with and switches into a stolen uniform. Helmeppo, cornered, offers Zoro a blank check for his demands. Zoro, always up for a good deal, lightens Morgan's wallet, leaving Helmeppo's pockets as empty as a bird's nest in winter. Zoro strolls into the Marine base and catches Captain Morgan's attention with his bulging muscles. Morgan extends an invite to join the Marines, but Zoro declines. He's got his sights on Mr. Seven's bounty. However, Captain Morgan reveals the consequences of attacking Marines, a cozy one-week jail stay. Zoro reluctantly agrees, hoping to catch up on sleep. Meanwhile, Luffy and Kobe plan to spend the night on their anchored boat. Luffy hatches a scheme to swipe the map from the Marine base using a nearby sewer pipe. The next day, Helmeppo taunts Zoro with one of his own swords. Zoro vows revenge after his jail time. Helmeppo spills the beans that Morgan won't be releasing Zoro. At the same time, Nami, donning her stolen Marine uniform, infiltrates the base. Luffy unexpectedly emerges from a sewer grate, finding himself in the same pickle as Zoro, who's about to embrace his prison cell. He tries to recruit Zoro, but Zoro's like, "Your pirate life ain't my vibe." Luffy, always curious, asks what drives Zoro, who reveals he's on a quest to become the world's greatest swordsman. Luffy respects that and lets Zoro go before sneaking back into the sewer. Inside the base, Nami hits the library and meets a Marine who questions her presence. Nami concocts a story about Morgan sending her to find a Grand Line map, and the Marine spills that it's in Morgan's office. Nami tries to divert suspicion, but her act crumbles when the Marine whose uniform she swiped shows up and spots her as a fake. Nami goes martial arts on him, but then Luffy drops from the ceiling. Nami tries to keep up the charade, but Luffy, with ears sharper than a cat on a piano, heard everything. He's onto her, but hey, they both want that Grand Line map. Meanwhile, Helmeppo's in Zoro's birthday suit playing with Zoro's swords, thinking he's Captain Morgan. Zoro enters, and Helmeppo's like, "You gonna off me?" Zoro smirks and hints at something nastier than a parrot with a sailor's mouth. Luffy and Nami find themselves wandering through the base's corridors when, unexpectedly, they bump right into the big cheese himself, Morgan. Quick thinker, Nami claims she's guiding Luffy to the brig and concocts a tale about who she is. Morgan falls for it and lets them pass. Nami discreetly tells Luffy that she swiped the keys to Morgan's office during their encounter. Luffy, with his ever-ready recruitment drive, suggests Nami should join his crew, but she shuts that down fast, revealing her deep disdain for pirates. Together, they sneak into Morgan's office. In a twist of fate, Luffy accidentally triggers a mechanism that causes a hidden safe to pop up from the floor. Meanwhile, Morgan, the library detective, discovers two unconscious Marines who spill the beans about Nami. He immediately sounds the alarm, rushes to his office, and uses his infamous axe hand to forcefully breach the door. In a daring move, Luffy uses his sheer strength to yank the safe out of the floor, inadvertently taking Nami and the safe on a wild ride out of the window, crashing below. Morgan and his lackeys rush to confront them, and Zoro jumps into the fray. They battle against the horde of Marines, with Nami handling the grunts. When Morgan arrives on the scene, Luffy and Zoro face off against him. Morgan proves a formidable adversary with his immense strength and deadly axe hand. However, Zoro gains the upper hand by employing his three-sword style. He immobilizes Morgan's axe hand with his swords, allowing Luffy to unleash a devastating gum-gum whip kick right to Morgan's face, knocking him out like a clown in a slapstick show. Zoro lugs the map-filled safe onto Luffy's boat. Luffy, in his typical let's-be-a-crew fashion, is met with hard declines from Nami and Zoro. While Luffy gets ready to find Kobe before setting sail, a disheveled Helmeppo shows up, compliments of Zoro's swords, aiming to apprehend them. But surprise, Kobe steps in with a knockout punch that sends Helmeppo to dreamland. Luffy's thrilled and Kobe reveals he's joining the local Marines to chart his own course. Luffy respects his choice, and they part as future rivals, but for now as buddies. On a Marine battleship at sea, Garp gets a Den Den Mushi call from Shell's Town reporting a pirate in a comically oversized straw hat swiped a Grand Line map. Garp, with his usual nonchalance, prepares to head to Shell's Town with Bogard, ready to catch some rays. Meanwhile, Kabaji, who happened to be at the same bar in Shell's Town, spills the beans to his captain Buggy. He describes the encounter like a hilarious stand-up comedy routine. 3 pirates walk into a bar, grab a map, and I'm just here with my mustache. Buggy, the jester pirate, starts devising his own comic caper to snatch the map. Thanks for tuning into our first episode. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you want more adventures from One Piece. See you next time.